As war in Syria continues to rage on, reports claim President Bashar al-Assad has left Damascus. Citing two senior Syrian army officers, news agency Reuters claim that President Assad has boarded a plane for an undisclosed and unknown destination, as rebels reportedly surround the capital Damascus from all directions. According to flight radar, cargo plane reportedly carrying Assad disappeared from radar near the city of Homs, though there is no official confirmation of Assad leaving the country and the disappearance of his plane. Meanwhile, Syrian Prime Minister Mohammed al-Jalili has said that he is ready to cooperate with any leadership chosen by the people and for any handover process after rebels claim that Syrian President Bashar al-Assad had fled the country. Whereas rebels have announced start of new era in Syria after 50 years of Ba'ath rule, asking Syrians abroad to return to free Syria. Elsewhere, clashes continued between the Syrian army and the rebels as several rounds of gunfire were heard in the Syrian city of Homs. In the midst of all of this, the rebels were seen celebrating the capture of Homs. In a video, the rebels claim that they have fully liberated the city of Homs. Furthermore, the leader of the rebel group, Ahmed al-Shara, has called the takeover of Homs as historic.
نعيش في اللحظات الأخيرة لتحرير مدينة حمص بإذن الله تعالى. هذا حدث تاريخي الذي سيفصل بين الحق والباطل. ونوصي إخوان المجاهدين كما أوصيناهم في السابق بأن يعطفوا على الناس ومن ترك سلاحه فيؤمنوه ومن فر فلا يدركوه.
In addition to this, a Syrian rebel leader has also made claims that its forces have released over 3,500 prisoners from Homs. Apart from this, rebels have also captured a military airport in Hama. According to the rebels, the airport has been used by the Syrian army to strike several targets in northern Syria. Now, with the war showing no signs of simmering down now, Turkey President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has said that the incursions by rebels has spelled a new reality in Syria, speaking at a city located just 30 kilometers away from the Syrian border. Erdogan said that the latest attacks have broken the straw in the camel's back.
Arap, Türkmen, Kürt, Alevi, Sünni, Nusayri, Hristiyan ayırt etmeksizin hiç kimsenin dışlanmadığı, kimsenin hak ve özgürlüklerinin çiğnenmediği, zulme uğramadığı farklı kimliklerin yan yana sulh içinde yaşadığı bir Suriye görmek istiyoruz. İnşallah çok yakın gelecekte böyle bir Suriye'yi göreceğimizi ümit ve temenni ediyoruz.
Meanwhile, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has said that U.S. should not get involved in the Syria war, while Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has said that Syria must not be allowed to fall into the hands of terrorists. Meanwhile, United Nations Syrian envoy has called for urgent talks in Geneva for an orderly political transition in the country. He has also pressed for de-escalation while also calling the implementation of UN Security Council Resolution 2254.
I have called for urgent political talks in Geneva to implement Security Council Resolution 2254. I'm pleased to say that the ministers and all I'm talking to are backing this call. And my hope is that they will be able to announce a date for this very soon.
And for more on this, we're now being joined by Ömer Özgel from Ankara, Turkey. He is a non-resident fellow for the Syria project in the Atlantic Council's Middle East programs, as well as an analyst for Turkish foreign policy and Syrian civil war. Welcome to WION, Mr. Özgel.
Thanks for having me.
Now, First up, how are the latest developments being viewed in Turkey, with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan clearly saying that this is a new reality in Syria? And also talk to us about what does Turkey gain from the rebel offensive in Syria?
So first of all, let's make this very clear. Every state in the world has abandoned this desire of the Syrian people, the Syrian rebels, except for Turkey. And now this Turkish approach pays off. We see that after everyone losing hope that the Syrian rebels will be able to topple the Assad regime, that they have succeeded in this. And now the second biggest winner of what's happening today, after the Syrian people themselves, is Turkey. And Turkey has emancipated itself to be the most influential foreign actor in Syria as of now. Turkey has a huge leverage over the Syrian rebels and the Syrian opposition, and Turkey will use this leverage to help the Syrians to have a more smooth transition into the new era and to avoid potential new security chaos or potential new crises. So Turkey will play here a constructive role. And you should not forget that 3 million Syrian refugees have lived in Turkey. And if we count the ones who lived in Turkey and went to Europe and the ones who lived in Turkey and returned back to Syria already, the number is reaching up to 5 million. And Turkey has protected 5.5 million Syrians inside Syria as well. So approximately half of the Syrians have been protected by Turkey throughout this conflict. And now Turkey is hoping that its interests will be fulfilled. What are these interests of Turkey? First of all, Turkey strongly believes that any government in Syria that is representative of the Syrian people is the best government Turkey can hope for. Secondly, Turkey wants to crush the terrorism threat emancipating from Syria. Now there's a real hope for that, and we have seen that the national security of Turkey will be advanced and progressed after today. Lastly, and also very importantly, Turkey wants the Syrian refugees to go back to their homes, to be able to return to their countries. Now, Syrian refugees can return. The way is open, and we will probably see soon a huge return of Syrian refugees, even probably so much that the Turks will begin saying, hey, can you not stay? We need you. You are good people.
Right.
Can you stay? And there will be a desire to even probably prevent for all Syrians from going back, because these are good people that also Turkey needs.
And Mr. Ozil Zelçek, the Syrian Prime, you spoke about the transition process which will take place now in Syria. The Syrian Prime Minister has said that they are ready to cooperate with any leadership that the people choose. Meanwhile, the rebels have said that they will leave the institutions unharmed. At this point of time, do you think that a diplomatic dialogue is a possibility in Syria?
So what's happening now is that the Assad regime, even though has crushed this country, has made the right choice in the last day, in the last hours. If the Assad regime would have fought for the capital of Damascus, of Syria, and would have destroyed the capital in this fighting, we would have seen another Syria. But by choosing to leave the country, or fleeing and opening the way for negotiations and a peaceful surrender between the Syrian rebels and the remaining of the Assad regime, now we have a more smooth transition probably. And the bureaucrats and the technocrats of the Assad regime will probably play a role in this transition period. So by surrendering peacefully, there is now a bigger hope for Syria to end this conflict peacefully and to do not have a spillover, to not have acts of revenge. And especially the Alawite minority in the coastal region of Syria who supported the Assad regime to the last day now have a more secure position with the peaceful surrender. And I can expect that the Syrian rebels will coordinate with the technocrats and bureaucrats of the Assad regime to make this transition as smooth as possible, because they need their capabilities to run a state. Even though the Syrian rebels have shown their capabilities, even though they have the institutions, it's always good to have some technocrats and bureaucrats who knows how things run and who can help in the transition period.
Right. I also want to talk about why did the rebels choose to overthrow the Assad regime now? We saw whatever was happening in Syria move forward very rapidly after they took over Aleppo, Hama, Homs, and now they are at the foothold of Damascus. So my question to you is that why did they choose to overthrow the Assad regime now, which is the ultimate goal?
So what happened is that the Syrian rebels were hoping for this for years, and it was, in the end, the Turkish green light that enabled all of this. Turkey has tried to reach out to Damascus and convince Damascus for a political solution in Syria, but this failed. After its failure, Turkey gave the rebels the green light, and we see that the regime is no longer. And the Syrian rebels have used this period of time quite carefully and successfully. However, in the end, it was more of the Syrian people than the Syrian rebels themselves who entered Damascus. We have seen that with the collapse of the Assad regime, that people, civilians, have gone into the streets, that they have taken up arms, they have taken control over areas in Damascus, even before the Syrian rebels arriving in the capital of Syria. This shows that the Assad regime did never have a popular support base that is sustainable. The Assad regime was a weak, hallowing regime. And once people have seen that it's not able to withstand the rebels of advance, they have taken matters into their own hand. And the Syrian rebels have still yet to arrive in Damascus. They are very close, but the people inside Damascus have already taken over the city.
Right. While they are yet to arrive in the Syrian capital city of Damascus, the rebels have claimed to have taken control of the notorious prison near Damascus, and they've also freed at least 3,500 inmates from there. Is that a point of concern at this point of time?
So the Satnaya prison is a notorious prison for torture, for killing of regime critics. So we know that the Assad regime has used Satnaya not only to torture civilians, but also to silence the opposition. We know that Satnaya is a symbol of the regime's brutality, and releasing the captives there is something good. Because anyone who is in Satnaya should not be in, even if he is a criminal, because the torture, the treatment, and the killing, and the inhuman environment and the inhuman situation there is just not acceptable and it's not within human rights. So there is no reason for concern. The main reason for concern is now how the Syrian rebels will manage this post-Assad period, and I think here foreign countries, the Arab states, Turkey, the European Union, the United States, and even Iran and Russia have to play a constructive role to make this as smooth as possible and to avoid potential risks and potential reasons for concern.
Right, Mr. Oskil Zelchek, the governance of Syria is a point of concern right now, but thank you so much for joining us on WION with your insights on this story.